Max Verstappen and Red Bull are charging into Singapore, riding on the momentum from back-to-back triumphs in Monza and Baku, and optimism inside the Austrian camp is higher than ever. Despite Marina Bay being a high downforce circuit, Red Bull's dramatic improvements in slow corners, especially shown in Baku, give them plenty to look forward to. Add the unpredictable Singapore weather and McLaren's brewing intra-team battle, and Verstappen could be poised to capitalize on yet another massive weekend. Can the Dutchman make it 3 in a row? And if he does, will McLaren's garage finally sound the alarm? Red Bull has clearly found a new rhythm since the arrival of Laurent Mekies. His philosophy, listening more to driver feedback instead of leaning solely on simulator data, has transformed the atmosphere within the team. For Verstappen, the impact has been monumental. Remember, in Budapest earlier this year, Max openly admitted he didn't believe he could win another race on pure merit. Yet, just weeks after Mekies took charge, Verstappen delivered 2 wins in 3 races. That's a management revolution in action. But despite this resurgence, there's still one mountain he hasn't climbed: Singapore. Across his career, Verstappen has led just 3 laps at Marina Bay. Even in 2023, when Red Bull dominated 22 out of 23 races, 19 of them Max's, Singapore slipped through their finger. That failure now serves as fuel. The stakes are higher than ever, and as Verstappen claws his way back into championship contention, the pressure shifts heavily onto McLaren. With 69 points still separating him from Oscar Piastri, Max has made it clear he has no intention of slowing down. Speaking about Singapore, Verstappen himself admitted, "It will depend on a lot of things. If the car is shocking to drive, then yes, it's really hard to keep it in a straight line. But if the car is nice to drive, then it's more about just the physicality of it. But at the same time, if everything's going well, then you can relax a bit more, and then naturally it's less physical as well. So I don't know. Let's wait and see. I mean, it's for sure always hot and you're sweating a lot, so you have to prepare for that. The key lies in the upgrade." Earlier this season in Zandvoort and Hungary, tracks requiring high downforce similar to Singapore, Red Bull was a mess. The RB21's performance was inconsistent, and Verstappen was visibly frustrated with the lack of engineering solutions. But Singapore is different. The Marina Bay circuit is packed with 90-degree low-speed corners, identical to the ones where Red Bull dominated in Baku just 2 weeks ago. The team's new floor and front wing could very well unlock the final piece of their comeback puzzle. Yes, Monza and Baku were low downforce races, but the layouts couldn't be more different. Monza with high-speed corners, Baku with long braking zones, and technical slow turns. Singapore offers more of the latter, and that gives Red Bull hope. Mekies himself admitted, "I guess it's probably fair to say that we have unlocked a bit of performance out of the car after Budapest regardless of our issues there. I don't think that Singapore will be a repeat of Budapest, so I am more confident than that." Is it going to be enough to fight for the win? Honestly, it's impossible to say, but it won't be like Budapest. You go to Singapore, you move your equations a bit, you keep the slow speed corners, but you go to maximum downforce. We have been struggling quite a lot in Budapest and even before that. Also, this is a much hotter track and we know how sensitive we are to this aspect. But not only us, it's almost the whole field, and that's practically where the battle is going to be led on Saturday. And Singapore doesn't forgive mistakes. Overtaking is possible, but only with razor-sharp precision. Tire degradation in the sweltering heat is brutal, and with the track's narrow walls, a crash in the wrong spot could trigger a red flag. That's exactly why strategy will be key. Red Bull knows that gambling on a longer stint, similar to Verstappen's Brazil masterclass last year, could deliver race-winning rewards. Meanwhile, McLaren is under no illusions about the challenge ahead. The difference between Verstappen and their young duo is stark. Max has been here before. He's faced championship-defining pressure, stared down a 7-time world champion in 2021, and came out on top without cracking. Piastri, on the other hand, wilted under the spotlight in Baku. Norris too struggled, second to last in one-lap pace, and visibly unsettled. That lack of composure could haunt them now that Verstappen is back in the mix. Zak Brown knows it as well. According to McLaren's CEO, the risk of Verstappen stealing their maiden title is real, which is why his team needs to return to winning form immediately. "We've got to keep doing what we're doing," he explained. "The Constructors is looking very good. We had a chance to wrap it up in Baku, but let's not talk about Baku. Hopefully we can get the job done in Singapore. We want our 2 drivers and Max, but we'd like to kind of get him out of there to fight for the championship and just give them equal opportunity and equal equipment, which is what we're doing. And may the best man win." That's what we want to do. We'd like to not play a role if at all possible. But you get into situations like Lando's mechanical failure and things can happen. Our goal is to just set Lando and Oscar up to be competing for the championship down to Abu Dhabi and may the best driver win. So what needs to happen for us to witness a truly dramatic end to this campaign? For starters, Verstappen must outscore Piastri by 10 points, and Norris by 6 each weekend. With 3 sprint races left, the Dutchman has extra opportunities to claw back points, especially if McLaren stumble. Now, it's unrealistic to expect Piastri to collapse the way he did in Baku every time, but we also can't ignore the very real risk of Norris and Piastri colliding under the strain of Verstappen's presence. And if that happens, the spectacle could be unforgettable. So here's the ultimate question. Can Red Bull and Verstappen pull off a 5th consecutive championship against all odds? And is McLaren now feeling the heat of a 4-time world champion breathing down their necks after carrying massive momentum from Monza and Baku? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And once you've done that, don't forget to click the video appearing on your screen right now. The real battle in Singapore won't just be fought on the track, it'll be psychological. McLaren's biggest weapon this season has been momentum and confidence. But with Verstappen suddenly breathing down their necks, that calm swagger is starting to crack. In Baku we saw it firsthand. Piastri, usually ice-cold under pressure, made uncharacteristic mistakes in qualifying and completely buckled in the sprint. Norris too showed signs of frustration, losing his composure in wheel-to-wheel combat. Meanwhile, Verstappen looked like the predator he's always been, biding his time, striking at the perfect moment, and making it look effortless. This is exactly the kind of scenario Max thrives in. He knows how to play the long game, how to put rivals under pressure without even touching them on track. Every lap he spends in McLaren's mirrors forces mistakes. Every aggressive outlap, every perfectly timed DRS move chips away at his opponent's confidence. And that's what makes Singapore so dangerous. One lapse in concentration, one lockup into turn 13 and a driver's race is over. Verstappen doesn't even need to win. He just needs McLaren to crack. But McLaren's nightmare doesn't end there. The heat and humidity of Singapore aren't just brutal on the drivers, they're killers on machinery. Overheating brakes, failing batteries, and sudden power unit issues are all very real risks. For a team chasing its first ever Drivers' Championship, those risks are magnified under the spotlight. A single DNF from Norris or Piastri could swing the momentum completely in Verstappen's favor. And if there's one man who knows how to exploit another team's weakness, it's Max. At the same time, Red Bull has something McLaren doesn't: nothing to lose. They've already taken their punches this season, they've been written off by pundits, and they've been mocked for their inconsistency. But now, every race Verstappen wins is a gut punch to McLaren and a reminder that the championship isn't over. Laurent Mekies has already admitted that their focus is on maximizing every opportunity, and in Singapore that could mean aggressive strategy calls, sacrificing Sergio Perez's race entirely to give Verstappen the edge. Don't think for a second Red Bull won't play that card. And what about Ferrari and Mercedes? Normally Marina Bay is a track where Ferrari excels in qualifying, while Mercedes brings strong race pace. If either of those teams can insert themselves between Verstappen and the McLarens, they become unintentional weapons in Red Bull's fight. Just imagine Leclerc taking pole, Norris stuck behind him on Sunday, and Verstappen slipping through with a strategic undercut. That's the chaos Verstappen thrives in, and McLaren fears. Let's not forget the sprint races still to come. With 3 more weekends offering extra points, Verstappen has the perfect platform to chip away at McLaren's lead. 10 points here, 6 points there, it adds up fast, especially when McLaren's drivers are splitting points between themselves. If Verstappen continues this charge, by the time we reach Abu Dhabi we might be looking at the most dramatic 3-way title fight since 20. So here's the burning question: has McLaren already peaked too soon, leaving the door wide open for Red Bull's late-season surge? Or will Singapore be the moment where Norris and Piastri silence the critics and finally prove they can handle championship-level pressure?